Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
I'm Peggy Burton, and I'm keeping my chin up for you.
Yeah.
And I'm Jim Puller.
It has no
Here we
chin.
go.
That's right.
We have no
We're at
chin.
the point in life where we don't have a chin.
Summer
That's right.
today. Buttercups are growing.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
blooming. It's amazing.
Hey,
It's
what,
beautiful.
almost 80?
Yeah.
It's going to be a record high today. I think it was record high yesterday.
Yeah.
It was.
So-
It was awesome.
So, yeah.
And I just don't-
We've
you know,
seen
don't
some
know what to
record
do with
highs
it.
in our time, haven't we?
You sure have.
Yeah, most of them we don't want to talk
You-
about.
I think you've been high during the record.
We've been on a record high before.
We,
You guys. Okay, let's start over.
that was 50 years ago, John. You know, you can bet one thing though, we probably won't be on that high again in our lifetime.
No.
That's the reason I think
Can't afford it.
You just about have to forgive people for some things in life. You know,
Sure you do.
people do
Yeah.
stupid things,
I was
We all
I was
have.
insane when I was about 20.
and you knew everything. Remember how smart you
Oh
were?
yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
10 foot tall and bulletproof.
knew everything. You know, I'm flying over the Pacific, and I'm looking out the window, and there's two engines that are not running. They're not turning around, and I didn't panic. I just
You
thought-
could fly.
Yeah, I was flying. It was okay.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
You know, I can remember one time, and John knows this story, but we used to, when we were in Atlanta, we used to get robbed all the time at the hotels we ran. And I came in one night and walked into the lobby, and I had been out partying with all my Tullahoma friends who lived down there, and the clerk is standing there with the cash drawer in her hand, and she says, "We just got robbed again."
Oh wow.
And we had a security guard, an older fella, and he was an armed security guard. And I don't know why it made me mad, because it really wasn't my money, and it was it was covered by insurance. But I said, "When did it happen?" It's just now. They just took off out of the door in this Buick convertible. You know,
Oh, for
left in
heaven's
the-
sakes.
I said, "Give me your gun." The security and the guy.
He gave you the gun?
He gave me the gun. Yeah.
Oh, my
And-
goodness.
And I jumped in my car, and I could see them getting on the interstate. We were out by Six Flags over Georgia. And they get on the interstate, and I'm out there, and I'm running them down, you know.
Bat Masters.
Yeah. And we're running about 100 miles an hour, 110 out
grief.
on the interstate. And I had this car that would really run
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point, you know. And so I caught him pretty quick. And then I'm driving down there, and I pull up beside him, and all of a sudden it hit me. What are you going to do now? What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
Are you going to try to fire at him through the
Yeah.
window?
That dog's caught that car, and what are you going to do
What are
with
you
it?
going to do?
And what happened?
Well, you know, actually, ultimately, I came to my senses.
Thank
and
goodness. Yeah.
You know, and I just got behind them, and I followed them to their home or where they lived, and of course got the tag number, and then went back. They were in some sort of subdivision over there, and I went back, and I was going to call the police, but I didn't have a dime, and you didn't
And
have
you
cell
couldn't.
phone. And I went into this chicken restaurant over there somewhere outside of Atlanta, and I'm begging people to give me a dime
So you
I
can call the police.
And
And
so
nobody gave you a dime?
finally somebody did. Some lady finally gave me a dime, but it was like, what is the matter with
Yeah.
you? You know, girl, nobody's
I know, you're
really
just
wanting
trying to get help.
But then ultimately,
I
they
noticed
went to
it's
their
itching.
home and arrested these guys, and
Well, good.
and they went to jail over it. But it was that strange feeling, as I said,
Uh,
when I pulled up beside them. It was like,
And, you know, if that'd
what
been
are you
today-
gonna-
What are you gonna do
What are
now?
you gonna do now?
Yeah.
If that had been today, you'd have probably pulled up beside him and they'd have blown you away.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's not a very.
Yeah, exactly.
That's scary.
And remember, to preface this, when we started out, I said, at that age, I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, and like you say, that's what, 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things have changed in 50
Oh, yeah.
years.
Right.
A
lot
lot
of
of
things,
things.
a lot of
A lot of
things.
things.
Sure.
Society's very, very different than it was
Mm-hmm.
50 years ago. Well, have you been watching the curling on the Olympics?
I have some, not a lot.
This group back here in the back, Andrew and Philip and that bunch, are curling aficionados.
No
Oh,
kidding.
are they?
Yes. Can you imagine athletics, the way they are, and what people celebrate. You know, the Super Bowl, the playoff baseball,
yeah.
World Series. Can you imagine waking up hungover after watching curling?
I'm not even
I
sure.
confess, I don't.
They
I
get,
don't know
they
what
get
it
that
is.
excited.
I don't know what
Do
you're
you
talking
understand
about.
how it works? You understand how it works?
All I know is they've got this round, flat, sort of a flat type surface
It's
thing.
a rock of some kind. Isn't
It's
it?
a, it's,
yeah.
and they push it down the ice, and they take brooms and go in front of it and
Yeah,
sweep the
I have
ice
seen
to
that.
speed
I
it
didn't
up
know
or
that's
slow
what
it
it was
down or
called.
whatever. It's like a shuffleboard on the run.
Yeah, it's kind of gotten popular.
Oh, it's very
though.
popular.
People are doing that in their homes. I notice, but
Doing it in their home.
if you got a hardwood floor, there's
Oh, they're curling there.
All right.
Yeah, I've seen
down
some.
a hill. I guess. Or
Well, it must be true. I've seen it on Facebook.
Oh yeah, yeah. If it's on Facebook, it's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, of course.
It's
Yeah.
actually happening.
Right.
Oh,
So have
man.
y'all watched any of the Olympics much? It's kind of difficult to watch because of the time.
Timing is
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I watch it some. I love this ice skating. I think that's beautiful and musical and lyrical. I enjoy that. And I am just overwhelmed at some of the things that the skiers do without getting killed.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I just don't know how in the world they do it.
Well, and there's a lot of lip service on the internet again about the fact that the United States medal count is not what people think it should be, and how dare them spend all this money training and all that, not be good enough to be winning all the medals. And I think it's one of the Swedish countries over there is like the whole population's not as big as Atlanta.
Yeah.
Of the whole
winning-
country,
winning
and
everything.
they're winning all this stuff. But it snows
They
over
live
there all
there.
year long.
They live there,
They live in
yeah.
the snow. They from the time they're old enough to crawl, they're crawling through snow.
Right.
And it just kind of upsets me that people would sit on their couch
And give
and do
instructions on how to
nothing,
make it
do
perfect.
nothing, and then speak bad about these folks who have trained their whole life that
Exactly.
they're just not good enough. Well, get up and you try it.
Exactly.
Way I kind of look at it. Be nice or leave.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of hate spewed on the internet
Oh
these
yeah,
days.
yeah, it's everywhere.
So.
It's everywhere.
Honestly,
so,
with all the important, serious issues that are facing our society today, it's amazing to me how people get so bent out of shape over something like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, how important.
and
is
there
that?
were, and there you talk about the shootings, and then the other day, right over here on Jackson Circle, I mean, there was a house taken over there that had pipe bombs in it, and
That was pretty scary.
and
That is scary.
I almost hate to say what I'm getting ready to say, but I feel like it needs to be said. A lot of these people and these kids, from the time they're old enough to watch a device or looking at a device, are watching games where monsters are cutting other monsters' heads off and tearing their hearts out, and they spend all day in a virtual world killing stuff.
Yeah.
That
And I can't help but believe that translates
I think that it
into
does
society when
somewhat,
some
yeah.
of them, if a person is a little bit disturbed in certain ways, that's how they feel that they can, because
Yeah, it's like the conscious-
how they can solve their problem. Let's just go
It's
out
like
here and
the
kill a bunch of
conscience
people.
doesn't take over anymore. You
No.
know what I mean? Like what would stop me or you from taking an assault rifle and blowing somebody away? I think without cause, our conscience would stop us. We wouldn't do it. We
Yeah.
wouldn't even dream of it.
But I don't know. I don't know whether it's. I don't know. Is it parenting? Is it lack of parenting?
It's probably a lot of all of the above.
All
Is
of
it
the
is
above.
it is it a lack of morality, a lack of faith base in this country?
I think one of the things is a community needs to raise the children, and it was that way many years ago. Everybody in the community, they had time to carry on a conversation. They knew their neighbors' kids, and their kids knew each other, and
whipped them if they needed whipping.
exactly.
In
My
a second.
neighbor a long time ago found my son heading toward the freeway when he was 3 years old, running away from home, and my neighbor picked him up. He hadn't gone that far, by the
Well,
way. He was
no.
just out with his little bag, and my neighbor picked him up and
Out with
whacked
his
him
little
on the
bag.
behind.
Yeah.
And that night, when I put my son to bed, he looked up and he said, "Mama, Mr. Dan can't whip me." Well, Mr. Dan had popped him on the behind and took him home, and anyway, that happened in those days. Nowadays,
My question-
they are gone.
My question would be is, what did you do to him to make him want to run away from home?
I don't know. He was just
He must have had a
just a
reason.
little thing, and he was thinking about getting out and going fishing, I think.
At 3,
Yeah.
most kids 3 years old now don't even know what
Or he
know
might
what
have been
fishing
going back
is.
to his grandpa's house because
Probably
he spent a
so.
lot of time there.
Probably
There's a cute
so.
woman here with an umbrella. Isn't that
She's
cool?
in pink. She's in pink. We're getting ready to have a trunk show on here in just
I know,
a little bit.
I know, it'll
Okay.
be fun.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, I pray for these people that are having such a hard time. I mean, I
Sure.
cannot tell you how tough it must be because we haven't experienced it.
no, and it's a whole different thing, and I don't know what the answer is.
Well,
No.
I do think that there should be a lot of screening before somebody can buy a gun.
Oh, I definitely
I
think
really
so as
definitely
well.
do. And I grew up with guns in the house, and we, killed or survived animals and stuff. But I don't want to take all the guns away. But there should not be assault rifles out in the public. When you get out of the Army, my son doesn't own an assault rifle, and he spent 32 years in the Army. You just
Right.
It shouldn't be allowed.
Right, the right to bear arms, and of course people think, well, if you you have the right to be armed just as well as the government is armed, because the right to bear arms was not the
Oh,
right
that's
to
a freedom.
feed; it was the
Yeah.
right to protect yourself
To protect
against
yourself.
government.
And you should be able to protect yourself.
And so, but
believe
it's gone. We're way
It's
up.
just
We're
gone.
way
We got
past
some
all of
weapons out
that.
there now that they didn't have back
No,
then.
we're way past all of
Yeah,
that, you know.
absolutely.
I can't imagine. Daddy had a gun sitting up on a rack, and we weren't allowed to touch it unless he was with us and he was helping us understand how to use it.
And you're just
It
going squirrel hunting to
stayed
get
and-
something to eat.
Right, and it stayed in that spot.
Yeah.
There was just no thought that we would take it.
Oh no, you touch Daddy's gun, you talk about a butt warming.
That's
There'd be
right.
one to be had
Anyway,
right there.
it's a very sad, and
It is. It
I
is.
wish that I could fix it.
Yeah, we lived in the country. I lived in the country with my grandmother, and she was about 5 foot tall, and we lived a pretty good ways away from where anybody was. But she wasn't scared of anything. She had that double barrel shotgun.
She knew how
out
to
there
use it, too.
and knew how to use it, and did a few times.
Yeah, my Granny Gray was the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you got the nerve to pull the trigger, you're gonna make a dent in something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was. She lived on. Of course, here we have gravel. At that point there was a lot of gravel roads and
Yeah.
macadam roads, tar and chip. But in South Louisiana, it was shells.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't have gravel. They'd go out and get seashells, and that's what the roads were, crushed seashells, and you could hear cars crunching them as they'd come down the
So you could
road.
hear the
And she
cars.
lives out there in the country. You hear crunching. She's standing at the front door with a shotgun in her hand.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
that's okay.
'Cause it's her property.
It's her property,
Yeah.
and she wants to protect it, and she has the right to
Has
do
the
that.
right to.
Right.
Just
Oh,
like we
goodness.
have the right to take a break right here, a commercial break right here, and we're going to come back. We have some exciting stuff, so don't you go away. Pay attention to our commercials and thank our sponsors for being with us for 25 years. And don't forget, Brand's Shoe Boutique is going out of business. The last day will be March the 3rd. Right now, everything there is half price or less. So go by the Avenues downtown on Atlantic Street and see my friend Brand and tell her you saw it right here from her old buddy John and Jimmy and Peggy on Channel 6 TV. We'll be right back.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck. Chevy, Ford, and Ram, man. Russell's got your truck. With the best selection anywhere. Russell's got your truck.
Where can you find all 4 all-American truck brands all at one place? Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. If you still can't decide, give us a call. We'll line them up for you. Either way, my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do, you know.
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman, and this is
Pat Welch, and we're at segment number 8 of
Yes.
Conversations with John and Pat.
Well, we're trying to keep up with those sessions best we can. They're just flying by, aren't they, Pat?
They're flying by, and our lack of memory, John, will probably,
Yeah.
it won't be the length of the programs, it'll be the shortness of memory before we lose out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And perhaps I can get through this song without forgetting the words. You know, that's a little bit embarrassing when I know it's going out to hundreds, thousands, whatever the number might
And
be.
think of the people looking at it on Facebook.
And Facebook, I know. I hope some people, they don't look the segments up when I did miss the words, but there are other good content there. There's other good content.
Correct. Yeah, I think
your stories.
I think we and
I enjoy
you,
your stories,
we
Pat.
adapted well.
This is about riding the school bus at Chapel Hill. This is called Old P31. I remember long ago having so much fun, riding back and forth to school on old P31. That great big yellow school bus was so much fun back then. If I could, I know that I would do it all again. Doc Harris was our driver, the world's most patient man. He never raised his voice at us, and I couldn't understand. Spitballs and screaming young'uns, fist fights and pulling hair. Doc kept right on driving like we weren't even there. Like a dust storm in the distance, like a mini hurricane, you could hear P31 a-coming down those country lanes. That old bus would rock from side to side while Doc would make his run, and we'd be hanging out the windows on old P31. It was back on old P31 that I learned to cuss the street. Gene Walls was my instructor, and I really caught on quick. I recall those backseat smoochers, Betty Lou and Jim. Always wished that he was me, and I wished that I was him. Like a dust storm in the distance, like a mini hurricane, you could hear P31 a-coming down those country lanes. That old bus would rock from side to side while Doc would make his run, and we'd be hanging out the windows on old P31. Then one day Doc stopped at school like he'd done 1,000 times. What I saw walking to the front made me think that I'd been blind. The secret of Doc's patience caused looking very near. I could see a wad of cotton stuff down both his ears. Like a dust storm in the distance, like a mini hurricane, you could hear P31 a-coming down those country lanes. That old bus would rock from side to side while Doc would make his run, and we'd be hanging out the windows on old P31. We'd be hanging out the windows on old P31. Old P31. fun, Pat?
Well, that's not.
You
was
didn't
that
ride
not
the school
magnificent?
bus, I don't think, because you were a Tullahoma young man.
We still do not provide transportation.
Yeah.
And,
I want Philip, by the way, to pull up that picture of the old bus drivers.
Which one is Doc?
Doc
John?
Harris is second to the right.
Okay.
Harding Chapman's on the left, Mr. Hugh Harris, Jack Palmore, Doc Harris, Jack Sherfield. Now those guys, you know, they drove the bus. I'm sure they're bus drivers just like they were. Back then, about most of everybody smoked, you know, and I can remember, you know, more than Mr. Jack Sherfield, for instance, he would smoke a cigar. And one day I mentioned
while
to him
they were
about,
driving.
Yeah, and he was. I've said something. I was just a kid, and being cute. I said something about his stinking good cigar, and he stopped the bus. He said, "Well, you can get off if you want to." You know,
It smelled good then, didn't it, John?
it smelled all right. Jack, I was just kidding. You know, I tried to get on good terms with him from then on. I knew he didn't. I knew it meant business.
Well, you know, I was kind of grasping. I knew you were going to get the gig in that Tullahoma doesn't have school buses, but we do have school buses for athletic events and extracurriculars and so forth. And my senior year in high school, which had been in football season, it'd be 1971, the fall of '71, our bus driver was Mr. Dameron. And he lived. Norman Dameron lived on Avoca Road and Riley Creek. Start that Y
Or you
there.
can't fill in the blanks, Pat. I can.
You're doing great. Yeah. Hopefully you won't know this story. But when we came back from every football trip for the first part of the year on, it was a really tight curb, and you couldn't hardly get a bus around it without catching the back tires on one side on that curb, and that thing go boom, bam, and everybody sitting in the back, of course, just absolutely rattled their teeth out. The last home game, we had won it, and everybody was feeling great, and nobody said a word. Nobody was putting pressure on him or kidding him, but it got really quiet as the last chance of the year to miss that curb. And there again, you couldn't get it in there, but about maybe a quarter inch or half inch to spare, and he made it. And the team gave him a stand ovation, and Mr. Dameron was really pleased with himself.
Mr. Dameron, he's a good fellow.
He was a great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy.
And but Mr. Hugh Harris, he's one of those guys in that picture. I would occasionally. He was friends with my parents and our family, and occasionally I would ride the rest of the way to his house and stay all night with him, and I had a good time. And he'd give me a pocket watch every so often. He used a pocket watch, and it wasn't real collectible or anything like that. But you know, he was a good old man, and he loved me, and I loved him. Sat in church with him many times, you know, because he was just a great old guy. But I remember I felt sort of bad about it, but I was too greedy. I remember selling his pocket watch several times on the campus, you know, after he'd given it to me. It's a childhood memory I'd rather forget now. Oh, man.
John, you reckon they rode school buses back on football trips in 1932?
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, that's one of the earlier segments we mentioned that I had gotten graciously received from the Allen family, a whole lot of Tommy Allen's football research and memories and so forth, and somebody gave him a really small tablet that was full of reports from the Nashville Banner, Chattanooga Times, Chattanooga News, the Tennessean, and of course Tullahoma Guardian, and it's going through here, and you know, the press, they really.
Please fast, Pat.
Okay, we're getting close. Okay, well, this will be a great way to end it with a little controversy. It's incredible how the media attacks one another about being homers.
Yeah.
You know, but I think if you're employed by University of Tennessee to broadcast their games, you ought to be for UT, and the same way for Alabama and MTSU and so on and so forth. But it was a lot worse back in the 30s and 20s and so forth. And Tullahoma got beat 7-0 in 1932. And this is from the Tullahoma Guardian concerning that game. Headlines: Fayetteville takes game from THS. And as you listen, you'll see that they've got a double meaning for that take. Fayetteville High took the game from Tullahoma High last Friday with an accent on the took. According to the scoreboard, the score was 7-0. According to spectators, the deal handed out to THS by Fayetteville officials, one of the rottenest ever witnessed in an assemblage of football fans.
We're still mad about it. Go ahead.
That's what it sounds like. If the accusations are true, the relations between the two schools should be severed by the officials of Tullahoma High. The game teamed with unfair decisions and unjust penalties. It's the first time the Tullahoma player has been cursed by an official from the opposing team. Tullahoma showed improved tackling and blocking over their work in other games this season and outplayed the Lincoln Countyites throughout the game, but off-color decisions beat them out of the game. Now that, John, is what you call a real homer from the press.
Well, we're done
And
today.
that probably wraps us up.
That was a great story. I love that
Isn't
sort
it-
of stuff. I like controversy.
Yeah. As long as we're not in the middle of it. John and I watch controversy a lot better than we participate in it.
That's right.
And that is the end of the conversations today. And number 8 is down in the history books. It's not over, sports fans, unless management says it is.
Attention Shoeistas, Bryn's Shoe Boutique in Tullahoma is closing forever. Every item in the store is reduced for immediate sale. Brenda is offering huge discounts on her entire inventory of fashion women's shoes, designer handbags, and jewelry, featuring famous brands like Yellow Box, Nine West, Bandolero, Impo, Coach, Michael Kors, Joseph Ripkoff, and others. The sale is underway now through March 3rd. Hurry in for huge savings at Bryn's Shoe Boutique, 115 Northwest Atlantic Street, Tullahoma. Open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday.
The Animal Shelter has served Tullahoma dogs for nearly 30 years. Now, you can help us build a bigger and better no-kill shelter. Your tax-deductible gift is matched dollar for dollar, so come on, bark it forward and donate now to have your tax-deductible gift matched. Make your check payable to the COT Shelter Building Fund and go to tullahomatn.gov to see all the unique gifts available for your generosity. For more details, you can call City Hall at 455-2648.
Good morning. I'm Fran Gray, and I'm representing South Jackson Civic Center today, as I do most every day. But I'm here to tell you about a very special event coming up this Saturday. And I have with me Erica Hall, who is a rep for Matilda Jane Clothing.
Yes.
And Erica brought this beautiful piece I'd like to read briefly to you. It says, "It's all about keeping a little girl, keeping her youthful, keeping her spinning and twirling and carefree, and most importantly, bringing her happiness." Now tell me about this. Why is this so special to you?
Well, Denise DeMarchis is the one who founded Matilda Jane Clothing back in 2005. And this is her quote. This is what she kind of based all of Matilda Jane off of. And it's basically just about keeping a little girl for as long as you can. And it's fabulous because, you know, as moms, we don't want our girls to grow up too quickly. So when we can keep them little and in cute twirly clothes, it's always a very fun thing.
Well, I think that's a wonderful thing. I love to twirl still, except it makes me dizzy and I can fall down and break something. But now, tell me how you got involved with Matilda Jane.
I started Matilda Jane about a year and a half ago, and I started it because it was pretty much all my girls wore. I love their clothes. My older daughter, who is now 10, started wearing it back when she was about 3 or 4, and then I had another daughter who is now 4, and that's pretty much all that was in her closet. And So I got the opportunity to start selling it and just decided I might as well make some money and do what I really love and am passionate about.
Oh, good. So you have trunk shows, is that right?
It is. It's trunk shows, and basically the people invite you into your home and you set up your rack of clothes and you do what's called a trunk show. And the Jane is the person who is hosting the trunk show. They are called the Jane. And we try to keep it as simple as possible. We don't like it to be difficult. I mean, it's just, you come in with a rack of clothes and bring your girlfriends and all the little kids and girls and shop and let them try on clothes. And it's all about seeing everything in person and getting to try it on and experience it, because once you see it and try it on, you love it.
Oh, then you start twirling, right?
Yes, you start twirling. That's just it.
Now tell me about the sizes of these garments.
We have the sizes range from baby from 3 to 6 months all the way up to 18 to 24 months. And then it's girls is from size 2 all the way up to size 14. And the tween line, which they just started over the years for the tween girls who are kind of outgrowing the really ruffly stuff but still want to wear Matilda Jane. And that starts at a size 8 and goes to a size 16. And then we have women's, and the women's starts at an extra small and goes up to a double extra large now.
Oh, so we can keep up the twirling, right?
Yes, exactly.
I spied this beautiful tunic this morning. I love these colors, and Erica had told me that there were sizes for extra large girls like me.
Yes.
And sure enough, look, isn't this lovely?
Yes, it's perfect for spring. I've seen it paired with white jeans, white pants, and it looks really, really pretty.
Oh, I should say. And I think we're all getting a bit of spring fever this week with these warm temperatures, and we're thinking toward newness. We're watching buttercups, as we call them, daffodils, pop up everywhere. I've seen some in my dentist's office even. So I think we're all focusing on newness and renewal, and for a lot of us girls, that includes new threads to wear.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we have a great new spring line. I only brought a very few of my pieces. Trust me, there is a lot more. And the great thing is, I mean, we have like all these cute little baby pieces, but we also have things that are great for like pictures, where you can get a baby piece and a girl dress, and you can dress up like the whole family. Then we also have a mom's dress that would match this. So if you wanted to do like pictures and needed stuff for the whole family, you could do that. And then talking about the twirly dress that I was talking about, this one is the twirly. This is a typical Matilda Jane twirly dress. My girls love this one.
Oh.
And here is another really, really great piece.
Oh,
so
that
I
is
love,
so
this
cute.
is a great spring dress. It would be great for Easter. And then we also have the promo this month that came out is these little matching mother and daughter aprons.
Oh, golly.
So if you spend $150 in Matilda Jane this month, you can get these little aprons.
Oh, those
and
are adorable.
They are so cute.
Perfect for Mother's Day or any time you
Ex-
want to get in the kitchen, or if you just want to dress alike.
Exactly.
Now, earlier I did have the umbrella open. I
Yes.
think this is absolutely wonderful. And I'm not superstitious, I hope you're not. But I just think that's the cutest thing. And yes, it is designed for a smaller person, but I would love to carry it
Oh,
too.
it's so cute.
And I see some matching boots.
Yes. And Matilda Jane this month came out with a whole rain collection. So there is a women's and 2 girls' jackets, and then they came out with the cute little rain boots. It's the first time they've ever done that. So, yeah, they're very cute. And
they
the little
are.
umbrella.
Well, we are excited because Erica has offered to bring her trunk to South Jackson Civic Center this Saturday. And we're going to have a trunk show. Am I the Jane?
You are, yes, you're the Jane.
I'm the Jane. And her company will allow her to give to a nonprofit group of her choice once a year. And so South Jackson will benefit from this sale. So we invite everyone to come over on Saturday from 10 to 1 o'clock. And as you know, we're under construction out front, so we'll ask you all to follow the signs, park on the south side of the building, enter through the South Hall door. Again, it's very well marked, and come in. You can come through the auditorium to our reception area where we'll have all these beautiful clothes and many more set up.
Yes.
And again, we would appreciate your support because percentage of the sales will come back to South Jackson Civic Center.
Yes.
And we have so many wonderful young people as well as more mature performers on our stage. We think we have something in the way of music and arts to appeal to all, and I believe Erica has clothing to appeal to all ages, from baby on up. So come to our fundraiser, and we will be happy to have you try on, maybe even parade across the stage.
Yes.
So South Jackson, 404 South Jackson Street, this Saturday, and that's the 24th, between 10 and 1 p.m. It's come and go. You don't have to stay the whole time, but we would love to have you come and experience some twirling and fun and let that little child in you play.
Exactly. And if clothing is just not what you're in, what you want right now either, we also have we have a whole home collection. We have bedding. We have a shower curtain that just came out. It's a really cute girly shower curtain with a bath mat and towels. So there's definitely a little something for everybody. I will have all that stuff there and set up. So if you guys want to come check it out, that would be great.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't wait for Saturday.
I can't either. It's going to be fun.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
All right, folks, as most of you probably know who watch our channel regularly, our partner Jerry Harris is way involved with the horse business and the Tennessee Walking Horse, and very excited for him about that, and all that stuff's coming back together and doing better. And there's going to be an education class, an equine education class at the Calisonic Center, and Jerry wants to talk to you a little bit about that and let you know what's going on over there.
My name is Sadie Fowler, and I am with the Walking Horse Report. I'm here today to talk to Jerry, my friend Jerry, about a program in which he is involved that we're very excited about and want to learn more about. So we're going to get right to it and just start by, Jerry, why don't you tell us in a nutshell what this program is and how you came up with the idea to start it?
Well, everybody knows that the youth in our industry, and new youth, I believe, would be the backbone. And last year, we did a show in Lynchburg, Tennessee. We had brought it back after a time that it had been gone. And the funds raised from that event were to be used to promote the Tennessee Walking Horse. Well, we did an ad and ran it on RFD and right before the celebration. Well, this year, we still had funds left. So I wanted to do something that would bring youth back to this industry. And I got a brainstorm about the Equine Education Day. And I talked to Jeffrey Howard about it. And he said, hey, sounds great. So I just took off and shocked, several people that are helping. And I do appreciate the ones that have jumped in. Allison Thorson, that young lady is amazing. And Kathy Seiss and Denise Rowland. Of course, we have other people that are going to be helping. Taylor Walters, Megan Davis, several of them going to come in, and a lot of the trainers we've talked to them. And what it boils down to is this: we are inviting all the schools, K through 8, in Middle Tennessee, and that's all the surrounding towns, to come to Bedford County to the Calsonic on March the 9th for Equine Education Day. And we have got a lineup that is unbelievable. We're going to have 3-time world grand champion Jose is going to be there. The gentleman of the walking horse industry, 20-year-old Golden Sovereign.
Wow.
This horse has won multiple world grand championships, world championships, and more horse shows than
Virginia's horse, right? Virginia's horse.
Yes,
right?
Virginia Stewart's horse, believe me. And when you see him, you would never realize he's 20 years old.
No, I did not realize that myself.
Oh, yes, he is.
Horse.
He's won over 70 blue ribbons. And we're going to have some other horses there. We're going to have Ritz Entourage, which is a model horse. We're going to have Lead Line, and especially the ponies. We want people to realize that if you've got a small child that cannot ride but wants to ride, there's a class for them.
Well, that's good to know. I'm glad you touched on that. One thing that I always admired about the walking horse industry was its ability to market to the middle, to everyone, really. A lot of other breeds don't do that, and I think that's a great idea. So this is March 9th at the Calsonic.
9th.
And how many kids are you expecting so far? Do you have a number? I heard it's pretty big.
Well, right now we have over 1,200 already registered, and I've even had homeschool parents call and want their children to come. I got one father that's got a daughter 6, 5, 4, and 2.
Wow.
He wants to bring them all.
So
him and his wife.
How have you promoted it and gotten the word out? How have you?
I sent out emails and called like the superintendents, sent them an email with a flyer. They've distributed it to the schools, and then it's up to the principal. But the deal on this is it's going to be on a Friday. Most schools have field trips that they take children on. They have to pay for that. This, they don't have to pay. That was one of the questions that kept bouncing back. And we don't have to pay anything, and it's free. We don't have to pay anything.
Right.
I said, yes, the teachers think it's fantastic.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department. Need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing. Or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you never can. If y'all could see what goes on when the camera's not on us, you talk about a show. It would be reality like you've never seen. But we have a lot of fun around here. And, I've got a fellow with me right now who is a very interesting gentleman. And a lot of times interest for me is tied to talent. And he is a very talented gentleman. It's Tony Patterson, and he's here with us today, and he's an incredible photographer. You're getting ready you have a show at the airport in Nashville right now.
Correct. Right now it's the culmination of a 3-month show that's on the concourse walls. It takes 3 of the walls up there in Concourse C. So it's a process where they select artists across the state of Tennessee every year, a handful of them, and it can be everything.
How
from
great is that for you?
Everything. So yeah, a lot of international exposure. That's what was kind of neat about it. So, yeah.
International exposure. Mm-hmm. That would be streaking at the Olympics.
Yeah, well, maybe. I haven't gone that far. It crossed my mind.
yeah, okay. So that show. And then now we're getting ready to have a show. There's going to be a show at the Art Center.
Yeah, basically I'm taking the stuff off the wall in Nashville on the 27th, and I'm going to transition it to the Art Center in Tullahoma, essentially for most of the month of March. So.
Oh, well, that's great.
So
that's
it'll be
great
there for about a month.
So give our audience out here some of the people who might not know the particular type of things that you like to photograph. Do you zone in on certain things? Is it structures? Is it animals? Is it flowers? Is it what does Tony like to capture?
Well, it's almost a therapeutic endeavor, so to speak. 'Cause there's been a lot go on through life, and it's one of those things where tucking behind the camera has been just a therapy experience in a sense. So for me, have a degree in commercial photography, so worked in Nashville for a while doing ads for everybody, helping a guy who was huge in the business, and we had art directors every week and talent every week and you name it. But for me, when I came back here and as the years went by, I just made a decision. I could either shoot portraits and babies and models and weddings and everything, or I could choose to do none of it. I mean, literally none of it, and go my own route. So that's what I did, and I went for things more like the show in Nashville and that kind of exposure. So I tend to focus on a lot of structure work, unique portraits, things like that, and just if it's something that catches my eye, then I like. But there's no real rhyme or reason. It's almost like it speaks to me first, and then and then there I go. So,
right. So, I've always found trees interesting. Certain trees, not every. I mean, because they all are sort of the same, but every now and then you'll see a tree that is just abnormal. That is. It's a piece of artwork in its own way.
Yeah.
And so that's the type of stuff you see something that goes, oh my goodness, look at that.
Speaks, because part of the process is I still use large format film.
Uh-huh.
So I like that because you're accountable, because from start to finish it's all on you. If it comes out in the end that it was a mistake, you made it. It wasn't like digital cameras where you can just correct it on the spot and do it. So for me to actually get all this out, it has to be something I really want to shoot at some point. So,
okay, so that brings about what you have on your knee right here. Explain to us what type of camera this is and why you're toting it.
A lot of people have probably seen one before in movies, especially. It's a Speed Graphic. It's an old 4x5 film camera. The part they haven't seen is probably this lens. What makes this unique, this is now called a Burnett combo. Gentleman's last name was Burnett, who figured out how to take this lens, which was actually mounted on the bottom of a bomber on World War II. So it was a reconnaissance lens. That's why it's so huge. It's a big chunk of glass on one of these. So it was actually mounted in a box, and it would fly over night flights during the war, and they would actually take pictures of the landscape and enemy troops and whatever they wanted to do with them. He figured out how to actually get it out of the box, how to do some modifications, make them fit one of these, which gives it an incredible blur behind the subject. So if I'm using this particular camera, it's probably on a person.
Wait a minute. An incredible blur.
It's like the
behind the subject. Explain that.
In America, we pronounce it bokeh, but I think it's actually bokia. It's a Japanese term, which means the face can be focused, the eyes, the nose, but after that, it pretty much starts to go immediately out of focus. And large format cameras do that great. But especially the lenses like this really do it great. So it's one of those combinations. When it comes together, it's just a beautiful piece. And you'll see some of that in the show.
Right.
Not in Nashville, but locally I'm shooting some people. You may get inquired about being one of the subjects here before I leave. But anyway.
You sure? Because it might break that big chunk of glass.
It needs a test. And so we're going to give it a go. But that's, if you see me using this particular one, it's something for that effect. Now I have other 4x5 cameras, which are just like your landscape and regular scenes, but this one in particular, if you see this come out, it's after one thing only.
Yeah.
So it's my favorite one to use.
That's great.
And the negative,
That's great.
just for illustration, this is the size of the negative, because this is a negative just laid on a piece of paper. So this is the actual negative size, a picture of South Jackson, because I still have a full dark room and still do the whole dark room.
So you can blow that, you can take that negative size, you can blow that up, shrink that down, whatever you
in my dark room, I can print up to 16 by 20 pretty comfortably. So
yeah.
Other than that, it's getting a little out of my
expertise.
If you start going up to 20 by 24s and stuff, I'm not equipped to do that. But I've got
now that doesn't mean that you're not equipped to do that. You're talented to do it.
Yeah.
It's just the equipment. You would need bigger equipment, which also costs bigger money. And how often are you going to do that?
So,
bigger room and everything.
For instance, my drying rack is an old just had a drying rack they used in a bakery, which has like the trays, and it came out of the old Tennessee Opry down in Normandy, which is where I'm going to be eventually setting up to work out of probably. But I actually can put a 16 by 20 on. There's like 20 of those, so I can slide them in there to let them dry. So stuff like that. That's where the limitations come in. Once it goes bigger, I stick it on the roof. I don't. So I can't do anything larger than 16 by 20 because of those limitations.
All right. Well, tell everybody when the show is going to start at the Art Center.
It's my understanding is it's the entire month of March. They should be announcing an opening day. I'm not sure the exact night, but they'll have that set up. I'll probably have the camera on display. If anybody wants to come talk about that or see it, they can.
Right.
And some other things, and so maybe some other film cameras if I can, and that kind of thing. But should run almost the entire month. I think it ends that last week in March sometime. I'm not sure on the exact time.
Right.
So I'm just the artist. I don't.
Well, I know you've been a great friend to Couches through the years, and Bob and Candy and that store and everything, and all the real photography that's taking place down there, and that's the type of stuff you do, and I want to thank you personally for keeping the real stuff alive. Because there's not enough people that are passionate and taking the time and acquiring the talent to do what you do to keep true photography and film photography alive and going.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I've actually got a picture of me and Bob holding these things
years
ago. So
that's great. Tony Patterson, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. We'll be right back, folks.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob.
I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Maiden. And we would like to welcome you to
Rooster Wear.
Yes, Rooster Wear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Rooster Wear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Rooster Wear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Darius Wallace has been to South Jackson Civic Center several times in the last couple of years, and he is going to do a piece right now on Selma. I know you'll enjoy it.
The marches in Selma. And those that marched were children. There were children here earlier today that were middle school age. And those children were middle school age and high school age that did that march. And as they were marching, they came across a bridge, but in front of the bridge were horses. Below the horses were German shepherds, and on top of the horses were officers. And they told the young people that if they tried to cross that bridge, they'd be forced to stop them. But the young people marched anyway, and some were beaten, some were bitten, some were sprayed down with fire hose, and many were thrown into jail. And Martin Luther King was so discouraged because of all the young people that had been injured that day. They called that day Bloody Sunday. And so Martin Luther King came and he led that same march. And before that march, he stood up in the church, and this is what Martin Luther King said to the folks of that town. He said, "Deep down in our non-violent creed is the conviction that there is something so dear, something so precious, something so eternally true that they are worth dying for. If a man happens to be 36 years old, as I happen to be, and some great truth stands before the door of his life, some great opportunity to stand up for justice, he's afraid of his home getting bombed, or he's afraid of getting shot, or losing his job, or he's afraid of getting beat down by state troopers. He may go on to live until he's 80, but he'll be just as dead at 36 as he would be at 80. And the sensation of breathing in his life is merely the belated announcement of an earlier death of the spirit. He died. A man dies when he refuses to stand up for that which is right. A man dies when he refuses to stand up to justice. A man dies when he refuses to stand up for that which is true. So we're going to stand up tonight amid horses. We're going to stand up tonight amid the billy clubs. We're going if they have. We're going to stand up tonight amid tear gas. We're going to stand up tonight amid anything they can muster up, letting the world know that we are determined to be free. And they did march. And as they marched, they went singing. But still there were the horses, the officers, and the German shepherds. But they went on singing, saying, I made a vow to the Lord, and I won't turn back. I will go. I shall go. See what the end's gonna be. If you get to heaven before I do, see what the end's gonna be. Tell all of my friends I'm coming to see what the end's gonna be. I made a vow to the Lord, and I won't turn back. I will go. I shall go to see what the end's gonna be. And they all knelt down, and they all began to pray. And when they lifted up their heads, the horses and the officers, German shepherds parted and allowed for Martin Luther King and the people to cross that bridge. Well, at the end of this great march, and they did lead a march, and it was a marvelous march. At the end, Martin Luther King stood outside and he said to them, to my dear and abiding friend, Ralph Abernathy, and to all the distinguished Americans on the roster, to my friends and co-workers of the state of Alabama, and to all the freedom-loving people who have assembled themselves together this afternoon from all over the nation and from all over the world. Last Sunday, more than 8,000 of us made a mighty walk. We walked through desolate valleys and across trying hills. We walked through meandering byways and rested our bodies on rocky highways. Some of our faces have been scorched by the outpourings of the sweltering sun. We've been drenched by the rains. Some of us literally have slept in the mud. Our bodies are tired and our feet are somewhat sore. But as I stand here before you today, thinking back on that great march, I can say what Sister Paula said, a 70-year-old Negro woman who was there during the Montgomery bus boycott. One day while walking, she was asked if she wanted to ride. And when she said no, they said, well, aren't you tired? And in her ungrammatical profundity, she replied, my feet are tired, but my soul is rested. And in a real sense, we can say our feet are tired, but our souls are rested. They told us we wouldn't get here. There were some that said we would only get here over their dead bodies. But now the whole world can see that we're standing here together before the great forces and powers of the state of Alabama, saying we ain't gonna let nobody turn us around. The confrontation between good and evil compressed into the tiny community of Selma and generated a massive power to transform the course of a whole nation. A president born in the South had the sensitivity to feel the will of the people. And in an address that would go down in history as one of the most passionate pleas for human rights ever delivered by a president of this nation, pledged the federal government to cast off centuries-old blight. President Johnson Johnson rightly praised the courage of the Negro to awaken the conscience of a nation. And so I say to the city of Selma, and so I say to the state of Alabama, and so I say to all the countries across the world, we're not about to turn around. We're on the move now, and no wave of racism can stop us. We're on the move now, and the bombing of our churches and the burning of our homes will not dissuade us. We're on the move now. The killing of our clergymen and young people will not discourage us. Like an ideal whose time has come, the mighty marching of an army will not halt us. We're on the move now. We're on the move to the land of freedom. I know some of you all are asking yourselves today, how long will it take? But I want you to know, no matter how difficult the moment, no matter how frustrating the hour, it won't be long, because truth pressed to the earth will rise again. How long? Not long, because no lie can live forever. How long? Not long, because you still reap what you sow. How long? Not long, because the arm of the moral universe is long, but it still bends its way toward justice. How long? Not long, because mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's traveling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath is stored. He's loosed his fatal lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. He's sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He's lifted up the hearts of man before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. Thank you.
Because that happened a whole lot quicker than I thought it was. I guess we need to go maybe to a commercial break, or yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a commercial break and be right back with some more good stuff.
At the time, maybe you were just building a bridge, a business, or a community. Maybe you were simply working for a home or a better tomorrow. At the time, you served out of duty and love of country. But in that time, we see a legacy created, an American dream lived. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. And choosing the right seat for your little one's age and size will take you down the road to safer travels.
How can I ever thank you enough?
Visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
I'm meteorologist Leland Statham from the News Channel 5 Weather Center. Look to Jim Fuller and crew for local news night here on Channel 6.
Good morning, all you wonderful viewers in TV land, and thank you, camera gentlemen, for putting a good, sharp, colorful, contrasty picture on the screen. I have a couple of different items to discuss with you today. One is that a number of years ago, this being the Easter season, the sunrise service was held at Wilkins Stadium, the football stadium behind the Tullahoma Senior High School. And it was a great program with choirs and music and very spiritual and inspirational. And this was taking place several Easters in a row, but the railroad trains, the freight trains, made so much noise, it was very distracting, and they discontinued the stadium sunrise service. However, many of the churches in Tullahoma have their own sunrise service, and it's a great inspiration for that to take place. And it will be coming up the Good Friday and Maundy Thursday, and then with the sunrise services on Easter Sunday. Now, the other subject I'd like to discuss with you is a part of what we discussed last week, and that was the eateries in Tullahoma. And this segment of my discussion has to do with drive-ins. And the earliest drive-in that I can remember as a little boy was out at Twin Oaks. A fellow by the name of Roy Sanders and his wife operated Twin Oaks, and their specialty was barbecue. And they especially catered to families. And on Sunday afternoon, a lot of families with children in particular would go out to Twin Oaks, and they had a wonderful playground there, sandboxes and seesaws and slides and swings, and several families would get together and we'd have a good time. And then when sundown came and we got hungry while we would clean up and go to the even had indoor facilities there for eating, and we would enjoy the barbecues and hamburgers. And then later, I think the Sanders family sold their place and moved to DeLand, Florida, but it was always a wonderful place, enjoyable to go to. This was back in the 30s, and one of the other real popular, very popular drive-in, it was real popular and people just loved to go there, was Moon's Drive-In. Everybody remember Moon's Drive-In? And it was a good place to go get roasted chicken and it was a drive-in, and they would come out and take your order and put a little tray on your side of your car there, and it was real good. Moon's Drive-In, and it was located out on Highway 55 that was Carroll Street, and it was right across the street of the highway from Bry's Haircut and the barbershop out there. And it was there for many, many years, and people always enjoyed going to Moon's Drive-In. And another one, of course, was Doug's Dugout out on Wilson Avenue at the intersection of Wilson Avenue and McClure Boulevard. And there were others, and so many more drive-ins now, Arby's and McDonald's and Hardee's, and just so many more drive-ins that have made Tullahoma a good place to be. The Sonic has 2 drive-ins now, and they're always popular. And they say if it's good, it's Sonic good. And we enjoyed going there at all other good places. And I'd like to say to you that this is not the end of the story, because there's a whole lot more to come, and we'll be glad to look forward to you being with us next week. Thank you, and have a good day.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. All right, Peggy, we're back, and
we need to talk about MTSU.
Yes, we do.
Their dance theater is coming to South Jackson Civic Center this Friday. They'll arrive around 3, and at 3:30 we're taking reservations for students that want to be in a dance workshop. They're fabulous. Anyway, for the dance workshop, most people have already signed up, but they still have some openings, and it's $20. That includes your ticket to see the event that starts at 7:30.
All right, now will the kids in the workshop be part of the show that night?
They will be featured in a dance with the MTSU Dance Company.
Now, they were here when?
It's been about
4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah, very impressive.
They're a wonderful company, and they give a dance degree at MTSU now, which is awesome.
Very impressive.
Anyway, we have some
tickets. That's Friday night, South Jackson Civic Center. It starts when?
The workshop starts at registration at 3:30, at 4 to 5:30 they do their workshop, and 7:30 they do a show.
7:30 is the show.
Yeah.
All right, that's the South Jackson Civic Center. Go around, the parking lot's being worked on, so go around to the side and you'll enter on the south side. So we'll see you next time. Dance Company, MTSU, right now, here they come.